Now, let's all try and remember a bit of A-level history. Gosh, it was a long time ago. Or at least some Blackadder. There were rotten boroughs, cunning plans, the Great Reform Act, and of course the Tories and the Whigs. Remember them? That's about as much as I can remember. Well, almost 3.5 centuries after it was founded, the Whig Party is enjoying an unlikely revival. But before we look at the modern-day Whigs, let's just remind ourselves of who they are and what they stood for. The Whigs were founded in 1678 and were incredibly successful from 1714 to 1760, a period referred to as the Whig supremacy. They drew their inspiration from the Glorious Revolution of 1688, which established the supremacy of Parliament over the monarchy. The Whig revival came a bit later, from 1806 to 1834, and led to many reforms, including expanding the electorate, defending the rights of religious minorities, and abolishing slavery and the slave trade. During these periods, there were 16 Whig prime ministers, the most famous probably being Robert Walpole, who is the longest-serving prime minister in British history. He kept Britain peaceful and prosperous during a turbulent period of European history. But the Whig Party was dissolved in 1868 after some of the members left and went on to form a new party called the Liberals. And that's the end of my history lesson. Well, as I said before, the Whigs have had a revival led by Waleed Ghani, who's going to be standing, along with others, for the Whigs at the general election. Welcome to the programme.
Hello.
Why have you decided to restart the Whig Party?
We believe there's a space at the centre of British politics, a progressive and intelligent and reforming space that was carried by the Whigs for hundreds of years, and then, as you said in the tape, the Liberals and Labour Party. The Liberal Democrats have been fatally compromised by coalition, and the Labour Party are undergoing a quite embarrassing crisis of confidence. And that space, which would normally stand up against the Tories and against UKIP, isn't being spoken for. And that Whiggish tradition, that Whiggish impulse and instinct, which we've always had in Britain, is unoccupied. And it's my belief that perhaps a revived Whig Party would be a way to go against that.
Right, you say you're going to occupy the centre ground that's been vacated by the mainstream parties. What would be your top 2 policies?
We're not going into policies now, because it's very important for us to start off with values. And on our website, whigs.uk, we've got our values laid out so you can see exactly what it is that we believe in.
Right, and why do you think the Whigs have been forgotten? Because they have been forgotten, haven't they?
Well, they have been, yeah. I mean, they've been forgotten because there's nobody carrying the Whig banner
because there's no demand for it?
As a brand, no. Well, there's no demand for the brand, perhaps, over the last 150 years, but the impulse, the intelligent, progressive, decent impulse on the right side of history has been carried by the Liberals, who gave women the vote, by the Labour Party in 45 and 66 and 97, and that there's a great disengagement right now in British politics, and I think it's because that impulse, the Whig impulse, isn't being spoken for.
And the Whigs Party is going to bring all that back. We've already got other parties, obviously. We've got UKIP, we've got the Green Party, we've got the SNP. Yeah. It's a crowded market, isn't it?
Well, it is a crowded market, and I think people want choice. I think people, young people, are used to choice. And when the Labour Party say, choose us because we're not the Tories, that's not good enough.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much. Just time before we go to find out the answer to our quiz. Ruth, can you remember the question? What's been installed in the House of Commons to improve TV coverage of Parliament? Was it A, extra microphones, B, 3D cameras, C, make-up facilities, or D, additional low-angle cameras?
As somebody who's only 5'5" and who has wall-mounted cameras in the Scottish Parliament that looks down your top, I hope it's lower cameras, and I hope we get them too.
And you'll be pleased. One of many people to be pleased about it. Thank you to all of our guests today, Waleed Ghani, and particularly to you for being our guest of the day. From us, bye-bye.